I do want to show you this clip that kind of flew under the radar. So Pete Hegseth was getting grilled today, but Sarah Jacobs, Representative Sarah Jacobs, had an especially unique clip where she tricks him, and she basically says, do you think these 3 women in the military are qualified? And Pete Hegseth actually begins to praise them. He's like, yeah, they are qualified. They seem great. And then she drops the bombshell that they are transgender. Please just watch this clip as it unfolds.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, shit, my bad. And we'll talk about Iran in just 1 second.
Thank you, gentleman yields back. Chair now recognizes a gentlelady from California, Ms. Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here. Secretary Hegseth, as you probably know, today is National Women's Veterans Day, and in your confirmation hearing and in subsequent conversations, you've said, and I'm quoting you now, women in our military have and continue to make amazing contributions across all aspects of our battlefield, and that women were some of the best soldiers you served with. Do you still stand by those statements?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. As you probably know, I represent San Diego, the biggest military community in the country, so I meet with countless service members all the time. And with your focus on emphasis and on merit and standards, I wanted to tell you about 3 incredible women in our military.
Just wait. It's coming. It's coming.
So the first woman is a major responsible for advanced collective warfighting training. Her officer evaluation report rates her as most qualified. And some of the comments included are, and I'm quoting now, she lives the Army values and demonstrates the warrior ethos daily. She rates within the top 5% of officers I've encountered in 18 years of military service. The second woman is an aviator with a record of over 50 combat missions, including deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. 2 quotes from her most recent fitness report in April include, quoting again, people excel under her leadership, and she has my strongest possible recommendation for promotion. The third woman is an instructor for an Army ROTC battalion. According to her evaluation report, her overall performance was rated at far exceeds standards, and the comments include, she is undoubtedly within the top 5% of non-commissioned officers I've worked with in my 22 years of service. Given their stellar qualifications and accomplishments and their record of surpassing standards, I assume that you agree that the Pentagon and the services should do everything they can to retain women like these, correct?
I would commend the major, the aviator, and the instructor for their service.
Oh, he would commend the aviator, the instructor, and the major for their service. He would even commend them. As someone in chat said, could you imagine Hegseth leading us into war, or leading the military into war? No. I can smell the alcohol through the screen just thinking about it.
Great. I'm glad you agree, because I also believe we should be recruiting and retaining the very best and brightest in our country to serve in the military. And yet, you are actually kicking out these 3 highly qualified service members solely because of their identity. These are trans women. And you are using the very same arguments that have been used against desegregating the military or allowing women to serve or allowing gay people to serve. And in all those cases, those arguments were wrong.
She kind of just rolled him. He was like, I would even commend their service.
So I think it's clear that this is actually not about standards or, and I'm quoting you again, an equal, unwavering, gender-neutral, merit-based system, because if it were, you would be keeping these women in.
And I'm sorry, but if it were a merit-based system, Pete Hegseth wouldn't be here in the first place. Pete Hegseth would still be on Fox News. Maybe he was good for Fox News, sure, but not for whatever the hell he's doing now. It's certainly not leading the Department of Defense, but if this were based on merit, those 3 women would still be serving our country, and Pete Hegseth would be serving drinks or whatever.
Instead, you are the one injecting culture wars into the military, and it's at the detriment of our military readiness and national security. Now, General Kane, I'd like to turn to you.
So to be clear, these are men who think they're women.
These are women. I'm happy to educate you on...
Dude, you got rolled. Just give it up. Just give it up. By the way, if you're just joining, make sure to drop a like. Make sure to subscribe below. We will be providing breaking news updates as Donald Trump continues to escalate, as he approves the strikes on Iran, then backs down. We'll see what happens, but drop a like below.
These are men.
On trans
and so
issues at
what
another
we've
time.
identified is that there's mental health issues with that belief system.
I'd like to turn to
that
General
are
Kane
detrimental
now.
to readiness.
No, you just commended these people.
And that's the determination that we've made and that we stand behind. Gender dysphoria.
And so you don't
complications.
trust your commanding officers to be able to evaluate the people under them to decide if that were true, wouldn't that show up in their fit reps? And yet these fit reps are from the last 3 months, and all of their commanding officers say that they exceed standards. I'm turning to General Kane now. General Kane, I'd like to touch on something you said yesterday before the Senate Appropriations Committee.
Oh, she keeps
When
going.
asked whether the United States is under a foreign invasion, you said, at this point in time, I don't see any foreign state-sponsored folks invading. Despite that testimony, 2,000 National Guard troops have been federalized and deployed to Los Angeles, and 700 Marines from my community of Southern California are now on the ground there as well. And on Tuesday, President Trump, flanked by hundreds of uniformed troops, said they are there, said this is the reason they are there. They are there, I'm quoting now. Generations of Army heroes did not shed their blood on distant shores, only to watch our country be destroyed by an invasion. General, have you personally informed the president that according to your own assessment, there is no invasion?
Ma'am, first, the definition of an invasion, whether or not that's a policy, that's really a policy decision. And, from a military-only perspective, I stand by what I said yesterday.
What does that mean?
But, my advice to the president in any particular matter from a security standpoint, or for the secretary for that matter, I keep that between them.
I understand that, but the highest-ranking military advisor in the country does not believe there's an invasion, and yet the President of the United States is federalizing the National Guard and deploying
Gentlelady's time's
active duty
expired.
in the name.
Ooh, she was cooking too hard that she ran out of time. You know what this reminds me of? Conservatives have such an unrealistic view on how transgender people, first of all, the amount in the population, but secondly, how transgender people even operate in the military. Pete Hegseth immediately pivots to mental health, which he's basically saying he doesn't think the commanders knew or understood that understood the mental health of the people beneath them, but also he just said before they did commendable work. I mean, check out this clip. This was one of my first ever Trump supporter interviews. This proves my point. Just check this out.
What % of Americans do you think are transgender?
I would say before it was cool to be transgender, or before it was probably like, I would say 1.5, and now it's probably like 20%.
20%? Well, it's still 0.5%.
Oh, okay. I was pretty close on 1.5.
Pretty, so yeah, sort of.
Transgender has just been publicized, just like other issues that they try to distract us from when it's more of a mental health issue.
Well, if it's a mental health issue, then wouldn't it follow that treatment would improve these people's quality of life?
Yeah.
So you're for gender-affirming care?
No.
That people who receive gender-affirming care have a way better quality of life than people who don't.
Are you just seeing it from the one side, or are you seeing both sides of it?
Well, tell me your side.
No, I'm just saying, have you seen the research on just the one side, or are you seeing it from both sides?
The opposite of gender-affirming care, I guess, would be conversion therapy. And there's 0 studies showing that conversion therapy works. Actually, that increases the suicide rate of trans people.
I don't know the statistics.
Of course I don't know the statistics. This continually happens over and over. Republicans make a fool of themselves. I mean, check out...